In the dense shadows of the Belgian Ardennes, hidden behind forests and fog, there stands a castle that few speak of openly, Château des Amerois. To some, it is a forgotten landmark. To others, it is known by another name, the Mother of Darkness. It is not open to the public, there are no tours. Ownership is private but opaque, access is restricted, and those who live nearby avoid discussing it altogether. The structure itself is immense, a Gothic estate with towers, a private chapel, and acres of secluded forest, built to impress, designed to isolate. The estate was once owned by the Solvay family, a prominent industrial dynasty in Belgium. Though publicly regarded as innovators and philanthropists, quiet rumors surrounded their use of the chateau. Accounts emerged of gatherings that were not documented, guests who arrived without record, nights without music. There was speculation about ritual activity, references to esoteric symbols, unverified claims of secret societies. But without evidence, the stories faded into local folklore. In 2004, another case, one with international ramifications, renewed interest in the chateau. Marc Dutroux was a Belgian man born in 1956. He had previously served prison time in the 1980s for kidnapping and abusing young girls. He was released early. In the mid-1990s, he was arrested again. This time, the charges extended beyond personal crimes. Dutroux claimed he was operating within a larger network. He described being paid to procure children for clients, individuals in positions of influence and power. According to testimony from surviving victims, these children were not just trafficked, they were selected based on specific criteria and subjected to elaborate abuse. The details were disturbing: organized orgies, ritualistic torture, and documentation intended for blackmail. Dutroux was not employed, yet he owned 10 properties valued at over $6 million. Financial records showed deposits to his wife's account aligned with reported disappearances. Annika Lucas was one of the survivors who testified. She said she was 6 years old when she was sold into the network. Her testimony included prolonged abuse, ritual humiliation, and ceremonial acts involving other children. She described being brought to large estates, sometimes castles, where she and others were used as entertainment and subjected to violence for hours. At the age of 11, she was told she would be executed. She was spared by one of her abusers, a man who would later become a defendant in the trial. Her statements were corroborated by other victims. Many described similar events: ceremonial abuse, black-robed figures, and what they referred to as hunting parties in remote areas. Children were released into wooded grounds and pursued. Some were mutilated, others were killed by dogs. The settings, many stated, were private castles, fortified, remote, and inaccessible to outsiders. Authorities investigating Dutroux uncovered physical evidence supporting parts of the claims. One associate, Bernard Weinstein, was found dead. In his home, police recovered a note requesting a child for ritual purposes. The note was signed by someone calling himself Anubis, later identified as Francis Desmet, a leader in a cult known as Abrasax. Searches of Desmet's property revealed ritual objects, human remains, and documentation, but no prosecution followed. During the course of the investigation, 20 witnesses connected to the case died under circumstances that were never fully explained. Judge Jean-Marc Connerot, who attempted to bring forward names of officials identified in evidence, was removed from the case. Survivors who provided testimony later retracted under pressure or vanished from public record. The chateau was never searched. Its role in the case remains circumstantial. But patterns in testimony, geographic proximity, and thematic consistency have kept its name within discussions of elite abuse networks. The chapel on the property is said to be sealed. No photos exist of its interior. There are architectural references to underground chambers, but no confirmation. Some believe the chateau is dormant, some believe it is still in use. The only certainty is that the stories surrounding it echo the accounts of those who escaped something most never return from. Those accounts stretch beyond Belgium. Survivors from unrelated nations, including the US, France, and Australia, have described similar rituals: ceremonial abuse in castles, iron collars, children hunted for sport. These reports mirror testimony from Bohemian Grove in California, where elite figures gather in secrecy and hold symbolic rituals under the redwoods. The parallels are unsettling. Isolated forests, effigies, robes, and alleged blood rites. In France, Château de l'Hôtel was rumored to host similar hunting parties. Survivors described being released into private wooded grounds pursued by masked elites and subjected to psychological torment. Escape was never the goal, it was control. The Vatican operates an infrared telescope named LUCIFER in Arizona, a name critics say was deliberately chosen. While it is officially an acronym, some claim it is used to track celestial alignments tied to ancient ritual calendars. In Washington, D.C., lobbyist Tony Podesta's art collection raised public concern. His home featured works depicting children in bondage, corpses posed ritualistically, and scenarios echoing known survivor testimonies. This wasn't underground. It was public. The concept of art as code emerged, the idea that occult practices are embedded in elite culture under the guise of symbolism, collection, or expression. That the rituals aren't hidden, just misunderstood. Many believe Epstein Island functioned similarly, with its temple structure, private forest, underground chambers, and child-themed artwork. It bears uncanny resemblance to locations described by Annika Lucas and X-Dossiers victims. The X-Dossiers, a suppressed element of the Dutroux investigation, included testimony from survivors identified only as X1, X2, X3, and X4. These statements named high-level European politicians and described ceremonies in castles that involved abuse, sacrifice, and mind control. The witnesses did not know each other, yet described the same clothing, rituals, and rooms. Their testimonies were archived, then buried. Today, the Mother of Darkness still stands. Its windows are dark, its chapel is silent, but the name lives, and the silence that surrounds it has the shape of something intentional. This is Eighth House Sun. Subscribe to hear what was buried, stay for what still breathes. Because some structures aren't abandoned, they're protected.